This is CPM Precalculus Chapter 1, number 154. So given the graph of k of x, sketch the following. So A, we're given k of x minus 2 plus 3. So inside the argument, right, when it's inside the argument, when this changes, this means we're going to shift left and right. Okay, so when it's minus, we're going to shift to the right by 2. Outside of the argument, right, is going to be shifting up and down. When it's plus, we're shifting up. Okay? So basically every point here is shifting to the right by 2 and up by 3. So this point shifts right by 2, up by 3, right? So from here to here, starting here, this point shifts to the right by 2 and up by 3. So this point moves from here to here, and it gets drawn out like that because it's a line that keeps going. Oh, I can't draw that well. And this point, or should I, okay, this point shifts to the right by 2 and up by 3, right? So this point moves here, and it's going to connect to this one, right? And this point here, I'll choose one that is a point, right? Shifts to the right by 2 and up by 3. 1, 2, 3. And so this is going to connect just like this connected up. This is going to connect up, go through there, and keep going. Okay, so this in blue is what we want to graph over here. Okay, so this point here is 2 to the right, up 1, 0, 0, 2 to the right, up 1. Okay, and it's going to connect here at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and it's also going to connect at 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. Okay, and it's going to connect. This point here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comma 1, 2, 3. Okay, 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comma 1, 2, 3. Okay, so here we have like a parabola shape. It's parabolic, right? Here and here. Oops. Let me draw a little better. Whoa. Okay, and then it keeps going up to the left with an arrow, and then it goes down straight like this. Okay, so this, again, what's important to note is it shifts right by 2 and up by 3 from the original k of x. Alright, so let's move on to part B. Part B asks us, well, what is negative k of x minus 2? And remember, the negative is basically going to reflect across our x-axis. Okay, so that's going to make our x-axis like a mirror, and everything reflects across it. The minus 2 means we're going to shift down by 2 units. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. To reflect, first of all these points, this point right here, I'm going to pick the same initial points. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm just going to move them. So this one reflects across the axis, right? So instead of being up 2, it's going to be down 2. And then it's going to shift down again by 2 units. So it reflects and then it shifts. So it reflects here and then shifts down to be here. Okay? This point reflects up here, right? Instead of at negative 2, it becomes positive 2. And then it shifts down 2 units. So this point becomes this point here. This point reflects again. So from positive 2 it becomes negative 2. And then it shifts down 2 units. And this point reflects, well, it's on the axis, So on the axis means reflecting doesn't change it, but then it shifts down by 2 units, so it becomes this point. Okay? So what is it going to look like? Well, so the reflection part is like this, right? Like this, and like this. Okay? So I chose 1, 2, 3, 4 points that I moved. So this one is going to be at 0, 0, the origin. This one's at -2, comma 1, 2, 3, -4, -2, 1, 2, comma -4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's at +2, comma -4. Okay, and this one's at +3, comma -2. 3, comma -2. Okay, so these connect like that. These connect and make the parabolic shape, like the parabola, right? And keep going here. Alright, so this, remember, was the original graph, reflected across the x-axis, and then shifted down 2 units. Okay, finally, in part C, we're asked to graph 1/2 k of x plus 1. Now, whenever we multiply by 1/2, remember that this can either, when we multiply here, we can stretch or compress, right? Stretch or shrink. So this one, since it's less than 1, right? Since it's a fraction, less than 1, we're going to shrink by 1/2. Okay, so that's what this does. If it was negative, it's reflecting, but if it's a value less than 1, it's going to shrink. And then +1 means to shift up by 1 unit. Okay? So what the compression does is, let's take these 4 points again. Okay? So the compression takes, so the y value here is up 2. So that shrinks it by 1/2. So 2 times 1/2 is 1, right? So it goes from 2 and it becomes the height of 1, and then it shifts up by 1. So it shifts up by 1, so it stays right there, okay? So that point stays there. This point shrinks by 1/2, so from -2 times 1/2 is just -1. So, and then it shifts up by 1, so it's there, okay? So this point moves up to here. This point, half of 2 again, because the height is 2, is here, and then it shifts up by 1, so it's right there again. This point, 0 times 1/2 is 0, stays there, and shifts up by 1, so it becomes there. Okay? So let's plot these points. We have -2, +2, so -2, up 2, 0, 0, 2, 2, 2 to the right, 2 up, and 3, 1, 3, 1. Okay? So this is now our parabola shape. You see how it used to be like a big loop-de-loop, and now it's shorter, right? And before it used to, like the slope here was rise -2 over run 1, rise 2 over 1, rise 2, run 1. Now it's rise -1 over 1, rise -1 over 1. So that's like the compression right there, right? And over here again, it was going, it was rising, I don't know, 4 over 1, but now it's going to be rising 2 over 1. So it's going to be like this. So again, this is a vertical shrink, right? It's vertically compressing by 1/2. So you can see, like, if we had, I don't know, a stick here and a stick here and push them together, it creates like a flatter, shorter graph, and then we shift it up by 1 unit. So it just moves up 1 unit to here. Okay? So this is the end of CPM Precalculus Chapter 1, number 154.